What is going on, my herd? Welcome back to another Black Sheep TV production. Today we continue our Does It Drift video series where we purchase vehicles in-game, build the car up to drift specs, and then test that car rigorously to see if it has the ability to be a drift car. Now in this game I own numerous different vehicles. They're not all drift vehicles, some supercars, some sports cars, some rally cars, some motorcycles, some Harleys, some little bit of everything in this game. And as you may also, I own one of these. But in all reality, guys, vans in this game are just not cool. You know, when have you ever seen anybody doing anything van related? Alright guys, car meet, and it's vans only. Alright, vans only race. No one has a van, and if you do have a van, it's probably this, or maybe the gang burrito. All I'm really trying to say here, guys, and I'm sure the large majority of you can agree with me, in this game and real world, vans just aren't cool. So this thing is pretty much the closest thing to cool that you're gonna get with a van. I mean, if I had this thing in real world, I think you'd have maybe some admirers. There's a bunch of people that own this in the game just because of the fact that of vans, this is about it. I mean, that is, of course, unless it's a DAJIBAN. And of course, by DAJIBAN, I mean Dodge Van. And by Dodge Van, I mean the in-game Bravado Yoga Van 5.0 Turbo Diesel. Yoku, why the hell are you testing this thing? This is a waste of time. No, it's not. Not. Well, let's learn some fun facts about this first of all. Why is it called the Yoga Van? So a place in Tokyo called I-5, which is essentially like an American vehicle auto dealer, well, they kind of popularized this style of van. And the reason it's called a yoga van, and spelt Y-O-U-G-A, is because I-5 is actually in the suburb of Yoga, Tokyo. And yeah, judging by the front, you may not think that this is a Dodge van. Some may, oh, that is certainly a Chevrolet front end. Well, GTA doesn't just rob the vehicles straight blind. They would get sued for that. They would have lawsuits. You can't tell me this back end and the whole story behind this van that this is not the Dodge Ram V8 van that is real world. The DAJIBAN, okay? The DAJIBAN. We don't call it Dodge vans around here. Now with any new vehicle that I'm driving, I try not to do any drifting with it until I can get the footage of it, of me drifting it, and get my first impression of it and see how she does. Now recently in this series I've just been bringing it straight in. We're just going to take a little drive here and I'm going to explain a couple of things. So I initially first came across the Yoga Van and its driftability in GTA when I first discovered how to drift myself and were trying to find others who were drifting. And I did find some people that were drifting under the general guidelines, but in that time I also found a bunch of people that weren't, and one of those people that weren't were in this van throwing it around. I thought that was kind of funny. Well, I personally have been subscribed to a YouTuber called Noriyaro, and he himself made a video about the DAJIBAN and how it has a cult following in Japan. And it started with motorcycle racers who needed a van to get their motorcycles to place. When they were done racing their motorcycles, it started with they started racing their vans, and then it started where they started customizing their vans, and now they all bring vans to the track, and they're all DAJIBANs. Dodge vans. Just the native twang in there, how they pronounce Dodge van. And by that I'm not making fun of the Japanese culture. Will this thing drift? That's what we're here for. Now I'm gonna link Noriyaro's channel and the exact video where he covers the DAJIBAN. Just go watch his video, guys. He deserves it. Go subscribe to Noriyaro. That channel is extremely awesome. I've been following it for over a year. So, I mean, let's pull out of there and just see if this thing drifts first of all. We're not stance. I want to go over the two oddities that I put on this that aren't normal drift spec. I have sport suspension instead of all the way down. It's the second to last suspension. All the way down pretty much drops this thing on the ground, so I figured if it is stanceable, that'll be way too low. So I have the one right above it. Also, I have all the way upgraded brakes that kind of enhance my e-brake a little bit. It's upgrades that I don't know if were completely necessary, but again, may have been necessary. So I know this thing does general burnouts, but we're going to see what it really does here. Alright, so it shifted down. It's very heavy, very slow. Let's dance it. Let's dance it. I'm not waiting. Look at the drop. See, so I'm glad I put the suspension in it that I did. That was an extreme drop. We like that. We like easy. Now, will it make the drift any better? Oh my goodness. A million times better. I'm actually counter steering. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The DAJIBAN! She lives. Oh my god, is this gonna outdo the Drift Tampa? DAJIBAN! Put up to the line, let's see what we can do here, guys. My heart, I'm excited. I'm excited. It's just different. It's different. It's very slow and it's very heavy. I can't stop. This thing is... Not an issue with shifting or nothing. Like, it's very slow, but I think this thing, I just don't want to mess up. I think it's like it'll go much quicker, but then the momentum allows and goes, so it's like I'm just going very slow. I'll pull out of here. What I mean is I think it'll go much faster. Yeah, it will. Not much faster because it wants to shift, but... I love it. I honestly love it. Decided to turn it from a rape van just into a normal old van. I don't like the rape van feel so much. So cost on this thing. For cost, we're looking at $16,000 from Southern San Andreas Super Autos. Upgraded, we're just kind of putting the standard $120,000 on these upgrade costs. Where that's just to justify that. That's $50,000 on a turbo, $40,000 on an engine, and $30,000 on a transmission. Now, I understand most vehicles are just slightly under that, but $120,000 for our control point. Our control basis here in this Does It Drift series seems like a good point. So that brings us at the $136,000 mark, getting it in your garage. So all in all, this is literally the cheapest vehicle that we are getting here on Does It Drift. Not competitive, no. It is slow, yes, but it drifts. And also, you need to be really efficient with the e-brake, especially in the transfers from right drifts to left drifts. Because if you don't use the e-brake, it will not, well, it'll do exactly that. It shifted right before I smashed into that pole. The second I went over the left and it would have transferred its weight, it shifted on me. So basically, when I transfer over and it's about to transfer, I'm going to tap that e-brake, rev up the RPMs, and then turn it over in the other direction. That's the only big thing. So, cost of what you're getting out of it, this thing is a 9, guys. The Yoga Van is a must-have in your drift garage. That's not even an exaggeration. This thing is fun. If you want to switch it up and have a good time in a free mode with the guys or just by yourself, this is a great vehicle to do it. And yes, we will be having some DAJIBAN sessions coming up. That is absolute. We got a 9 on the cost. What is the driftability? It's not a competitive vehicle. It's just a little bit slow and it's very heavy. It is going to get a little bit of hit. I'm going to give it a 7 on driftability. Then keeping in efficiency. Efficiency is keeping in the cost and the driftability, but also we did blow up the one vehicle, so it will, the gas tank, it is programmed back there. It will certainly blow up if you're not precise with your shooting. So you want to be just right. So for efficiency, then keeping in mainly that momentum, that heaviness, where it just wants to spin out on you, and where you can't, you know, if you get that heaviness going into a corner that's really tight, you're not going to be able to make that corner. Too much opposite momentum going into a tight corner is very negative at this. So that's that's affecting the driftability, again, bringing it down to that 7, but it's also really coming into the efficiency of the vehicle. The stancing, there's no odd stancing. There's a lot of customizations of the vehicle. You can put a topper on it, you can put the panels, so I'll have a couple. Long story short, efficiency, I'm giving it another 7, guys. So it scored a 9, a 7, and a 7, what's bringing it up to a solid 23 out of 30 on the Yoga Van, guys. As always, I appreciate you tuning in, liking the videos, commenting, being part of the community. If you guys are playing on the Xbox One platform and you want to be part of the e-motorsports Drift Association, please get a hold of me. I would prefer you to get a hold of me on Social Club. I appreciate your guys' interests more than you guys can imagine. All in all, stay happy, stay positive, and we will speak to you next time.